welcome to the Cruising is Life podcast. Whether you're a seasoned cruiser or just starting out, we have something for everyone. So sit back, relax, and get ready to set sail with us on the Cruising is Life podcast.
Alrighty, hello everyone. Welcome back, and a big welcome and thank you to those who are at our ship spotting live stream earlier today. We went straight from one stream to another. But today we are doing the long anticipated and long asked for and long time coming, the Grandiosa review. MSC Grandiosa, we sailed on her just a few weeks ago, and I'm joined here by Caleb. He was the one that sailed on the ship with me. So how's it going?
Hi. It's going good. I miss Grandiosa. Kind of could go for another cruise right now if I'm going to be a little honest with you.
Yes, exactly. Yes, for sure. Yes, we sailed a few weeks ago. We're finally getting around to doing our review on this amazing ship, but I will, not to go too far into things, but Grandiosa right now is one of my favorite ships at the time being. So I'm excited to finally dive in and just, kind of pick your brain and see how you really thought about the ship and just kind of let everybody else know. But big thank you to everybody here in the chat here on YouTube that are watching us live. Big thank you, all of you. And again, thank you to all of you who were at our ship spotting live stream earlier today. But without further ado, Caleb, where can they find you on your social medias?
I am basically on everything, but if you really want to find me where I actually post is Facebook under Cruise Ship Media. That's where all my jam and jelly is at basically now. Kind of really go hard on Facebook.
All your jam and jelly. That's where you're going to find Caleb's jam and jelly is going to be on Facebook. But yes, he's on YouTube, Instagram, all that jazz, basically. But
Twitter, X, my bad, everything, yeah.
But yes, so go give Caleb a follow. He has all sorts of Grandiosa content as well as I do. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on with everything. So first, I want to just say that this is a 3-night sailing that we did here on MSC Grandiosa. She typically will offer 7-night cruises. There's a period of about 3 to 4 weeks, where Seashore, who typically does the 3 and 4 night sailings, was on a weird schedule following the new year, and so Grandiosa kind of fell in her place for those 2 to 3 weeks. So we kind of got one of those one-off 3-night sailings, but typically she does offer those 7-night cruises. So I kind of wish we did do the 7 based off of our experience here, but
it was back in August where when they announced it, you texted me saying, "Hey, Grandiose is doing a short cruise. You going?" Question mark.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I'm going. Yeah.
For real. Yeah. It was a good time though. As soon as Grandiosa was available to book, I was like, come on, like I gotta go on this thing. It looks so cool. But so we're actually gonna structure this review a little differently than in the past. In the past, we just kind of talked about what we did. But this one, we're actually going to be going through kind of a little checklist and a little scorecard that we have. And at the end of the podcast, we'll be kind of giving what our total is and kind of see if we agree or disagree with the number that we ended up giving it. So first off, so with the app and the check-in process, and there's 2 different check-ins in our list here, but the app and the check-in, overall was your first MSC experience. As far as the app, how did you like the app, or did you really use it that much?
I really didn't use the app that much. I think we unfortunately live in a world with the Royal Caribbean app where, love or hate Royal, they do their app really good. But I think MSC is definitely working on a good infrastructure for the app. It's just a matter of when they're going to be up to par with Royal. But it did its job fine. It's not the worst, not the best kind of deal.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, Royal's app is kind of the gold standard of the industry. It's kind of hard to replicate that, but I completely agree. I mean, I used it a little bit, and I used it for the check-in. So the funny thing is that I hadn't had this issue previously with Seashore or Seascape, but with Grandiosa, for some reason, when we completed our check-in, it would tell us that it was complete, but there was something that was missing, and it wouldn't let us print out our boarding passes or anything on this. So it kind of got a little weird, and we actually had to reach out to a travel agent, like, hey, like, are you able to print our boarding passes? Like, we can't get them, which was kind of a bummer and kind of weird. But again, that seems like it was a one-off based off of past experiences. So,
Right.
but yes. So overall, I mean, I thought the app was very good overall. I would probably give it maybe a 7 out of 10 based off of my experience. Given that one hiccup, I shouldn't have to reach out to my travel agents to find
That's
find my luggage tags and things like that. But I'll chalk it up as a one-time thing. So I'm going to give the app a 7. Overall, it was still really decent and easy to use. I was able to make reservations for the specialty dining experiences and things like that.
Yeah, I give it a strong 7 as well.
A 7. Caleb's
Look
got
at
his
me.
little
I mean,
scorecards.
I literally made this like a couple seconds ago, guys. Bear with me.
All right, so the app check-in, we give it a 7. So moving on to actual embarkation. So we actually picked this up in the vlog, and if anybody actually had seen the vlog to this point for Embarkation Day Part 1, it took us, a total of 9 minutes? Whoops. I'm sorry, my cat's on the...
Yeah.
My cat's on the thing here, and it just completely... Hello? There we go. All right, that's better. She hit the keyboard, and it just froze everything. But yeah, in the vlog, I think we clocked it at 9 minutes? Is from what it took to walk into the terminal and on the gangway within 9 minutes.
I think a large part of that is thanks to our Aria balcony, and we just got there, I think, at the right time.
I would say yes and no to the Aria. So
really,
actually, my impression is that Aria would have gotten into the not necessarily yacht club, because obviously like yacht club is more dedicated for those who are kind of like the Haven experiences. But I thought there was some sort of like priority boarding line, that's kind of funneled in with yacht club when it came to Aria, but it really only came in when we got to like the actual check-in counter. It was like yacht club and Aria go here, and regular boarding goes over here. But that was like the only time, and it didn't really make a difference.
But no, actually, I would say it would make a huge difference. Did you see how long that regular line was? It wasn't the longest in the world. It did like one big loop around, maybe like a 5-minute wait or something. But like for us, we literally just walked straight up to a counter.
It probably
saved us this.
Yeah, maybe saved us 10 minutes.
Right, which, hey, that's a
that's true
factor to consider.
Oh, absolutely. And so yeah, parking was super easy. I actually got like pretty much right as like the first turn as you come in. I got like a corner spot. Got my car right in the corner, so it was nice. Parking was super easy. Paying to park in Canaveral, I think the 3-night cruise cost us, I think like $60 or $70 to park for those 3 nights, which is unbelievable how expensive parking is getting for these cruises. But nonetheless, I guess not horrible. Miami's just as bad, so just kind of how much you're going to pay everywhere. And so parking was nice and easy. Check-in was nice and easy. There was no hiccups there, at least on our side of things. Everything worked smoothly. The app worked smoothly. You were able to use your boarding pass. Like you could get it similar to Royal. You could get it on your Apple Wallet or Google Wallet or whatever they call it for Android. But you could do that right on your phone, to where you didn't even have to use the app technically to board. You just had it right there on your wallet, which was nice.
The only bit of congestion we ran into while boarding was actually walking on the gangway to the ship. Everyone just kind of stopped right there because everyone was just kind of just building up into a pile. Like, oh, look at the ship! Like, okay, that's so cool. Get on the ship.
Yeah, that was the weird thing I noticed with that. Yeah, like everything was super smooth, super quick and easy through there, and then it was like right as we stepped onto the ship, it came to a stop, and it was like, because the boarding window there where you go through into the ship, it was like you could go you can go to the right, but they had the right blocked off for whatever reason. So you went to the left or straight, but it was like right where the muster drills were the muster stations were. So like a lot of people were just stopping right there doing their muster drills as people were trying to board. And so that was the only hiccup, and I thought that was kind of an issue. But I guess getting
Mhm.
to that point was very smooth and easy.
And like for me, like I really remember recognize that after the cruise because little content insight when I film for Facebook, I film me walking on the ship from the gangway. And people like that view, but like when I was looking back at my footage, it literally just comes to a dead stop. Like you said, not detrimental though.
Hmm.
It was like weird, made you like, but if that's the only negative, I'll take that.
Right. It wasn't that bad. I would say, would you give it a 9? Eight
Oh,
and a half,
oh,
9?
oh I was thinking, yeah, I'll give it a nine.
These
Yeah.
scorecards.
Yeah, I got every number except for zero because I don't think we need a zero.
Yeah.
Unless we have to review that brownie Ocean Cay, then I don't have a zero.
Ocean Cay is one of our pinpoints here. But
And
actually,
the brownie's gonna be a big factor.
I do want to kind of sidetrack here for just a moment and just kind of give everybody and also just like a idea of what our itinerary was. I mentioned that this was a kind of one of those weird one-off 3-night sailings for the ship. So this went from Port Canaveral. She's brand new in the Port Canaveral, only been here since December, and so we went first to Nassau and then to Ocean Cay. I almost said Coco. Whoops. But
Ooh,
Ocean
ooh.
Cay into the private island. So those were our 2 stops, no sea days, which I kind of thought was an unfortunate thing. But at the same time, we had a really good lineup of ships with us in
With
Nassau. That was cool.
with Nassau, something I really liked, which I never get to really do because every time I go on a cruise, I always feel like I'm the first ship in, first ship out. We
Hmm.
got there at like 10. We stayed there till like 8,
Yeah,
which is actually pretty cool.
we spent a long time there. I think out of those 2 ports, I wish we would have stayed a little bit longer in Ocean Cay, but you win some, you lose some.
We were still there till 6,
We were
which is
there till
still
6. I wish we would have
pretty.
stayed until at least like 8. That way the sun went down maybe a little bit,
Mhm.
and because it was already starting to go down at that point. But in
Right.
Ocean Cay, they do offer that lighthouse light show experience, which is really cool. I got to do that on Seascape because we left around like 10 o'clock or something like that night, which was really nice. But I wish we would have been able to stay just a little bit later in order to do that for Grandiosa.
But yeah.
So transitioning into service, though, this is going to include, bar service, you know, room service, the room steward. We'll get
Can't
into the room itself
can't give an
here.
opinion on the bar.
Yeah, Caleb here can't give an opinion on the bar, but the room attendant, the bar service, food service, like with the restaurants and the buffet, all of that. So I'll first start with the bar. So didn't spend a whole lot of time at the bar, sorry, but the bar was weird because like some of these were, you know, a typical bar experience. You're gonna walk up and just like sit down on one of the chairs and order a drink. It's just kind of like round robin. You just kind of points at you and you order a drink. There was at least 1 to 2 bars on the ship where it was very unorganized because they were doing one person was taking orders and one was making the drinks. And so everybody just piled in at once, so people were cutting each other off, but they were treating it as it was like a line to use the bar, which was interesting. So it was just like very confusing in that sense. After a few days, like people got like the hang of it or realized what was happening. But like for a while there, it was just like, people were like, what the heck is going on? Like I've been standing here forever, but they just served that guy who's standing right in front of the dude. So that was a little on the weird side, but overall, I mean, bar service is your typical bar
Yeah.
service. The buffet, was good. We didn't really.
The omelet station ladies were very nice.
Yes, we pretty much religiously used that omelet station every day of the cruise. They were very quick. I always made those. The omelets were always very nice and very hot and fresh out of there. That's one thing I really like. We'll get into food here in just a bit, but the buffet service was overall really good. I wish so one of my wishes that we'll get into just a little bit here with the food is that like with the burger bar, they throw a lot of toppings on the burgers without, instead of just like letting you do it yourself, which I
It's not that
personally,
bad.
I'd rather see. I don't want a bunch of sauce and all the stuff. I don't want all that on my burger. So,
The secret MSC sauce, dude. It's a secret formula.
but like, for people that do want that, it should come plain and let you add it. Kind of like a guy's burger. You can get it just plain and then put all your toppings on it after you get it. You know what I mean? But what and I was like, hey, can I just get like a plain burger? And he goes, oh, that one's plain. And it had everything on it. I'm like, okay, that's obviously not
Hey, we
plain,
came
but
up with a solution
it's all
where we
right.
took the buns. I gave you one of my dry buns, and you gave me one of your sauce buns. So I got double sauce. You got double dry buns,
You
dude. I was
shouldn't have to
happy.
do that. You shouldn't have to do that to get just a plain cheeseburger on a cruise.
I
But
like it, man. It was good.
But yeah, anyway, I just thought it was weird that the crew member was just like very, you know, like, oh, just grab that one, it'll be fine. I'm like, thank you, okay.
It was
So,
fine, according to you.
according to me. um, so I guess overall, did you have to you had to go to guest services for something, didn't you?
Yeah, and there was a very stupid issue where my card apparently didn't link to the cruise, and so I'm like, oh, okay. So I went to guest services, and they're like, sorry, you can't link it. It's the last day of the cruise. I'm like, why?
Oh,
So
that's
I had to
right.
make Brandbot pay for everything,
Yeah, that was
and I
super
had to pay him
weird.
all back. It was very wonderful.
Yeah, they essentially just like shut off his card the last day and wouldn't let him put money on it or anything, which like
Yeah,
made zero sense. It's like, wouldn't you want him to spend money on board?
I was gonna go buy chocolate for my lady friends back at home, but I couldn't.
Oh,
The
but yeah,
MSC
that was
chocolates here.
super interesting. Overall, the service, I'd give it. Would you say a 6, maybe a 7?
7.
You give it a 7, okay.
Yeah.
But then jumping into the food, and I do see it in the chat here, and I don't. It's not necessarily on our scorecard. I guess it'll go into layout a little bit more, um, but we'll kind of briefly touch on it. Overcrowding. How did you feel about the crowding of the ship?
I'm gonna be 100% honest. Not a issue at all.
No,
Literally not an issue at all.
no,
It
I
was
don't
like, I think
think.
one of the most least crowded ships I've ever been on. I
I
feel like
don't
I want
know
to
if
Serenade was more crowded.
right. I don't know if it was because the ship wasn't completely sold out, but I overall I really never found any particular area very crowded on that ship at all.
Except for getting on the ship.
Getting on the ship. That last night of the cruise, when we like were heading through the Galleria as a show was getting out. That was a little crazy, but that was also because there was a ton of people coming out at once. But that was like the only
Have
time
you
where it
been
really had.
on go on Star whenever the Aqua show's getting out, and then you're stuck on the pool
Exactly.
deck. You're stuck on the pool deck for another hour because the elevators are all clogged.
Yeah. So, but transitioning on the food. So we kind of briefly touched on the food with the food service. I would say, and this has kind of been on par with previous MSC experiences. I thought the free food was okay. Nothing special, but okay. It was overall good food. Just definitely not the
I'd say a
best. It
little
was
better than okay.
a little better than okay. um, you know,
So
the
nothing
buffet,
good, but nothing.
yeah. The buffet, the breakfast was fantastic. MSC has great breakfast. If they could just nail lunch
Yes.
and dinner, then they'd be solid. But their
Mhm.
breakfast is fantastic. I love, they for some reason always have really good hash browns. Like every cruise line, it's always hit or miss. They're the same hash browns, but it's always hit or miss. MSC, it's always a hit. When they also had that, the omelet station, they were very quick making
Oh,
the omelets, which was very good,
heaven.
and they give you a lot of options to make them as well. So like, you could basically just like, hey, yeah, I want this, 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 and this. They put it on the table and they give you the thing. The only thing with the omelet station is they probably should have given you actual pagers like Royal does, and not just a piece of paper. And then and then there's just a short, 4'10" lady going 27, off the, whenever the thing is ready. But overall, I mean, the thing was good. I just, there could be better efficiencies when it comes to, paging people rather than just screaming a number. But the omelet station was fantastic, though. That was like my favorite part of the ship, or as far as the food Was that
MSC
which is
also has some
fantastic.
really good soft serve.
They
Good
do.
soft serve. I like it.
Yes,
Approved.
they had very good ice cream. Um, Lunch in the buffet and even dinner. We had dinner in the buffet one night. The chicken parm was good. It wasn't, it wasn't as good as it would have been in the main dining room, but it was
Mhm.
good. The
What
lunchtime, at least embarkation lunch, I found it being very cold, which was similar to Seascape. It just felt like it would have been
what did
sitting
we
out.
eat for the embarkation lunch?
I had a
Not the burgers. It was it was like when we went down to the buffet. It was like this weird pasta thing.
we had pasta
That
carbonara.
that did not taste like it.
It was the noodles weren't cooked very well.
Yeah.
The noodles tasted funny, but like the actual sauce and the bacon in there was like good, but the noodles tasted a little off. But um, so and I've kind of said this in the past, but I think MSC could use a little bit of work on their lunch and dinner offerings. I think their breakfast is fantastic, but lunch and dinner could be a little bit better. But to swing to the opposite end of the spectrum here, their specialty dining experiences. What were your thoughts on that?
Fantastic. Butcher's Cut. If you thought chops were good, you'd be blown away by Butcher's Cut. I was really impressed with it.
Yes, and that's kind of, to kind of go back, I've said that the free food has been, needs work a little bit, but I've also been very vocal about MSC having some of the best specialty dining experiences. We did both Butcher's Cut and Kaito teppanyaki on this cruise, similar to what we did on Seascape. And Butcher's Cut, I agree, is, I would say, arguably better than Chops Grill on Royal Caribbean, and it's half the price. We got the 2-night specialty dining package, which is about the same price, and that's not me just like exaggerating it. It's about the same price as 1 night of Chops Grill on Royal Caribbean. It's roughly the same price, maybe a couple dollars, like
Right.
$5 more at most. But Butcher's Cut was
Um,
fantastic. I had the filet. The filet was amazing. Did you get the filet as well?
I got the filet as well. Then I got the tomato soup as the appetizer, which that was amazing as
Yeah.
always. And then I think I got cheesecake for dessert, but it was
Okay.
amazing. It was
Yeah, I think you had the cheesecake, and then I ended up getting the basically their version of the chocolate melting cake, which that was fantastic. That was up there with Carnival's, which is kind
No,
of
I did get the chocolate cake. It
you
was
did get the chocolate
really
cake,
good. Yeah,
very very
I
good.
did get it. I forgot.
It's hard to compete with Carnival's melting cake, and I thought it was pretty close. I just wish I had another thing of ice
I'd
cream
agree.
to go with it. But I thought that was
Mm.
fantastic. So overall, like Butcher's Cut experience was fantastic. Again, that's some of the best specialty dining experience. And then Kaito, what was your thoughts on Kaito?
Before we get to Kaito, one last thing I want to add to Butcher's Cut. I liked where we were sitting in Butcher's Cut. We were sitting like right over the promenade.
Oh, that's actually a big
Yes.
thing. We'll talk about, we'll touch on that in layout, but it also loops into here is that, with the Galleria, it's that big long promenade that if you are familiar with the Freedom class or the Voyager class of Royal, it's that big long one, and it's very similar, but you got that giant LED ceiling, which is extremely cool. But what's also really cool is that there's a second level to it, and the dining experiences are on that second level. One side is Il Campo, which is one of the main, um, complimentary dining experiences, the main dining rooms. But then the other side is Butcher's Cut and Kaito. And with Butcher's
The
Cut,
view was just awesome.
yeah, Butcher's Cut and Kaito. Kaito was just the sushi bar that sat outside, but you could actually get outdoor seating in Butcher's Cut, which we actually ended up doing. We could sit basically on the railing and look out down into the promenade rather than being inside the restaurant. Now, you can sit inside the restaurant like normal, but those outdoor ones sitting on the promenade overlooking everything as that LED ceiling is changing throughout the night, that was really, really cool.
It was like doing like that star structure thing. It was so cool, like so
Yeah,
pretty.
Yeah, it was
Such a good
really cool
atmosphere.
that they did that same pattern every night. It was like a brick ceiling that they would try to do because it basically blended the sides, like the walls essentially of the promenade, and it like bridged the gap basically in the top. But then they do like
Weirdly enough, it
star patterns. Yeah, they do like star patterns,
reminded
which
me
is
of
really cool.
like Epic Universe, something like that. I don't know, like the theming and all that. I'm like, oh, this is
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it was really
But
cool.
back to Kaito. Here's a little thing. I like Asian food and all that. I don't really like food being cooked in front of me kind of thing. So I liked it as a kid, but
How dare you? You don't like Kobe's?
I haven't been to a Kobe's in a while. So like, not that I don't hate it. It's just like it's pricey, so I'd rather just like pay, just for. Okay, he's gonna kick me off my next cruise, I think.
Literally.
But I liked it. I loved it actually.
I'm
I
making you go to
loved
Hosuki now.
Uh oh. Hey, is that
That's funny
that's
though.
not an MSC side.
Hosuki is
Um.
that's NCL on Luna.
Oh, yeah. Right. Um. But I really, really did like the Kaito. The rice there was fantastic. I ate that rice like a vacuum cleaner. I literally, he's like, "Hey, we have some extra rice. Who wants it?"
Me.
Me.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah, I thought Kaito was fantastic. I got the fillet there, and an interesting way they do it, and I actually have no problem with it. I think it's fantastic, um, because I at least like the options. But it's weird that instead of just like doing I'll take this as my appetizer, I'll do that as my main, and this is like they do. Basically, you get it's like the Sencho, the Shogun, and something else, and they're just
Samurai or
preset.
something.
Like it's like a 5-course meal, but it's preset for you. You got to pick 1, 2, or 3. That's a little
Mm.
weird how they do it, but overall, I mean, I like, you know, at least I like the options that, I found the one that I like, so that's what I get. But the salmon was fantastic. The fillet was really, really good. Like you said, the rice was fantastic. Um, so yeah, I overall thought it was really, really, really good.
I was very impressed. MSC had amazing specialty dining for an amazing value.
Hmm.
Probably the best specialty dining deal you can get at sea, in my opinion.
Yes, absolutely. It's definitely some of the best deals, and I think so. I don't remember exactly what we paid, but I mean, you can get again 2 nights of specialty dining on MSC is about the same cost as 1 night um, of specialty dining on Royal Caribbean. Like it's about the same price, maybe give or take $1 or two.
It's same quality, if not better.
I would say I would lean on the better side. Not to say
Agree.
that's against Royal Caribbean, but I just think MSC's specialty dining experiences are really good.
I agree.
So overall, leading us to the conclusion of food, what would you give the food?
Can I do a score with specialty dining score and a regular specialty dining, or do I have to do both?
We're gonna split it 5 and 5. 5 points go to specialty dining, and then the other 5 points we're gonna go towards the free food.
Free food, I'd give it a 2.
I'd give free
2 or
food a
3.
2 out of 5. So, and then obviously a 5 out of 5, I would say, for the specialty
Mhm.
dining. So we're gonna go with a 7.
Yeah.
7 overall for the food. We're gonna calculate these numbers by the end of the podcast, by the way. So stay tuned for our final results.
I already forgot all my
But
numbers, so
moving into the layout of the ship, we kind of touched on everything with like the specialty dining experiences where you could actually sit out into the promenade and on the upper level too. It's not like you're sitting in the middle of like regular traffic. So that was like one of my biggest things that I really, really liked about that class of these Miravilia Plus ships is that, design. But overall, the actual general layout of the ship, I thought it was really interesting because that ship
you're gonna
felt.
steal. You're gonna steal it.
I know.
What I said.
I know exactly what you're going to say, and I completely agree. But this ship felt like, for those who are familiar with the Freedom class from Royal Caribbean, I haven't sailed on a Quantum class, but Caleb has. But it felt a lot like a large, large Freedom class ship from Royal Caribbean. It had that big, long atrium, which is really nice. A little bit longer. And it also had a big, beautiful atrium at the end of it too, which is, that's where they have the crystal staircases, all the chrome or like the shiny chrome and mirrors and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So like that overall was really cool. It felt really close to home when it came to like a Royal Caribbean ship. And those Freedom class ships, as some of you who probably listen or watch regularly know, those are some of my favorite ships of all time. It also has like a sky lounge up at the top underneath the funnel, which is very reminiscent of the Viking Crown Lounge, which I really came to like as well.
Yes.
I see
And
you playing
something I
with your
would like to
model.
add. Oh yeah, I'm just holding it for his reference, I guess, whatever. A little toy. Um, I am 1 trillion% blown away how they put so much like pool area on a ship. On a ship that wouldn't look like that would have a lot, but it had so much. The aft pool, which was the Horizon pool, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then the main pool, it was probably the largest
Huge.
pool I've ever seen.
That was a huge area.
There's no way the Royal Bay pool is bigger. That pool was huge.
That was a really big pool. It was a
And there was like
huge deck too. But then there was an entire separate solarium in front of that. Like you see this giant, if you ever look at photos of Grandiosa, and kind of Caleb's kind of holding up a little bit there, but like that whole area, I mean, that's a good chunk of the ship. But then there's an entire solarium in front of it, but then you've got so much more behind it. Like that area is so large, you'd think it would be just like the majority of the ship. But they did
and
so
so
good laying it out.
I want to point out there was also 2 huge hot tubs right here and like right here, those huge hot tubs, huge. And there was 2 huge enclosed hot tubs for the solarium area, the rainforest pool area, whatever.
There were
And
two on the
then
top that hung
something
out
that
over
me
the
and Brandon got
side.
access. Yes, yeah,
And there
that's
were two
these
more
two right
down
here.
by the actual pool
Mhm.
in the solarium.
And then the one that me and Brandon got access to for the Aria was like right here, and that was amazing hot tub.
Yes.
And then the aft pool, there's so much pool on a
Mhm.
ship that doesn't look like would have a lot of pool. It just looks like this ship I would think would do good like Alaska, looking at it from a distance or something like that. But like being on top of it, there's so much to do. Where I could see this being like a Caribbean-based ship, like year round, which coming soon will be.
Right. Yeah. And to kind of touch on top 19, to kind of give a idea, and this is for Aria and Yacht Club guests. So we kind of lucked out with our access to this because we just got a random upgrade and ended up with an Aria balcony when we, originally had booked a inside cabin. But imagine basically, if you're, again, familiar with the Freedom class or the Voyager ships, imagine if the top of the Viking Crown Lounge had a pool on top of it and it overlooked that main pool deck. Like that, it was amazing.
It
A
was so
beautiful
cool.
view up there. Yeah.
And there was a TV screen way down there. I bet you if you would have like watched like one of the NFL playoff games up there, you could have from that hot tub.
Oh, we could have watched it that one night. Yeah. That would have been really cool.
Fantastic pool layout. I think probably this is gonna sound bold. I think probably the greatest like pool layout for a cruise ship I've ever seen.
It was good. It was easy to get around too.
Easy to get around. Because Icon and Oasis class is kind of like a maze. It's like that big gap with Central Park in the middle.
Icon is a maze.
It's super straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's super straightforward for Grandiosa, and there's so much you would not believe it.
Yeah, and then to kind of go, continue on with the layout here, the underneath the funnel, underneath the Sky Lounge and all of that is the Sportsplex, which is home to an entire full-size basketball court and two F1 simulators and a full-size bowling alley with 2 lanes. Like, there's so much there, and there's a VR maze in there too. Like, there's so much in that, just in one ship there.
And then something else that I 100% forgot the ship had was panoramic elevators, and they were actually right next to our room. So we found ourselves using the elevators a lot more than usual because who wants to take a cool ride elevator right next to your room? Like, come on, you want to do that,
right? So yeah, overall, I thought just like that ship had really good vantage points as well.
Incredible.
Again, we're nerds, we're ship spotting nerds. We love looking at other ships and just getting good vantage points throughout the ships. The railings were very low, not low enough to where it was dangerous, but low to where we could actually see and not look through a panel of glass that was covered in sea salt. Right,
Oasis class.
right. So that I really liked, and that there were also a couple like just random sections that like kind of cantilevered over the side of the ship a little bit to where we could look down the side of the ship, or just like a lot of really good points just throughout that ship, all around that top deck to look out.
And then also even in the atrium area or that glass area, like with the chrome stuff you were saying earlier, there was two massive glass walls on each side, and that
Mm-hmm.
was just a cool little vantage point, just to, like look out on such a low level. And
Right.
then also the 270 knockoff, I forgot what it was called. It had a name.
Carousel Lounge.
Carousel Lounge. I loved it. It
Mm-hmm.
was like 270. I mean, nothing I think will ever beat 270. That was the greatest lounge ever on a cruise ship. But um Carousel Lounge was fantastic as well. It was really great.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm gonna be bold and say, at least for me, I'll let you kind of see what you say, but I'm gonna give the layout of the ship I was gonna give it a 10.
I
That was one of my favorite
I didn't.
ship layouts ever. I'm not gonna lie. Like out of all
I give it a 10
50 plus cruises, that was probably one of the best layouts because it felt so much like a Freedom class ship. I would say it was just about a 10. I'll
I
meet you in
think
the
there
middle,
was a
say nine and a
couple.
half.
I'll say yeah, we'll do 9.5. We'll do 9.5.
Nine and a half.
Because I think if it had a couple more things, I think it would have been perfect. I'm oh look at me, I'm so picky. I think if it had a couple more bars around, that was incredibly hard
Yeah,
to find.
you spent a lot of time in those bars, kiddo.
Yeah, right. Hey, do you remember when I walked up to the bartender? Hey, I'll have a Coke on the rocks. She looked at me and laughed. I have a lay for ladies,
It's like,
everyone. So,
all right, kid, get
um,
out.
and
Um,
then there's just some areas where it's like a metal door to like get to like where you need to go. I was like, huh?
yeah,
Like,
I think if there was an outdoor deck down in the lower section, okay, so I'll give it that. I'll give you the 9 there.
mhm.
If there was an outdoor deck towards the bottom, where the lifeboats are, similar to how again the Freedom class was, that I think would have made it a 10 out of 10. So I'll give you that.
I agree.
So we'll go with a
Uh,
9 on the ship layout.
9 is not bad. It was still like one of
No,
I
9
think
was
definitely like
awesome.
top
Yeah,
three favorite layouts on a
it's
cruise,
a
maybe top two.
yeah, that was one of my favorite layouts of any ship, I would say. So moving on to activities, I know we kind of touched on a couple of these with the layout, but what were your, there were several shows. We'd never really had a chance. We did a lot on this 3-night cruise, but we never really had a chance to go to any of the main theater shows. One thing I thought was a little interesting is that the Carousel Lounge, the show back there, you do have to pay for. I think it was like
Lame.
$10 to $15, which is kind of a bummer to pay for a show. But I believe it was an actual Cirque du Soleil licensed show, so I get it in that sense. But they also threw in a free cocktail so you're basically just paying for a cocktail in a show. So
They did?
yeah,
Would they give me a glass of water because I'm a kid?
they'd probably give you a glass of water.
Ooh.
So there's that. So you kind of win. You get a win lose there. You win, you get a free drink, but lose, you kind of have to pay for a show, which is weird. The show in the main theater seemed extremely popular based off of that one night when it let out. I mean, that entire theater was packed. So I believe it's a Michael Jackson show, if I'm not mistaken. So
I
that looked
think
like it
so,
was
yeah.
really good. But as far as like the actual, like I guess, activities on the ship, MSC always knows how to throw a good party. Their deck parties are very, very good. I think
Mhm.
we missed the white party by accident. We forgot what night it was, apparently. Um, but
I think it was the day we fell asleep early on accident.
yeah, exactly. But so they had the ropes. There was a full ropes course on here, and 3 different water slides, and on top of that, they had the 2 bowling alleys that we mentioned earlier, the VR maze, the F1 simulators, and a full-size basketball court that turned into a pickleball court. We saw it used as a soccer court field-ish. So like that whole area is multi-purpose there. So there's a lot of variety of things to do in that section. And then of course, the ropes course was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was kind of challenging a little bit.
Yeah, there were some challenging paths to go down. So, and I haven't done a ropes course on a cruise ship since I went on Carnival Sunrise. That's the only time I've done a ropes course on a cruise ship.
Wow.
Um, but I loved the ropes course on Grandiosa. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was a good
But
ropes course. The water slides were really
slides are
fun.
great.
Yeah, they were faster than I thought.
I agree.
There was like one of the raft slides was like kind of chill and a little slow. The other one had like random spots where you like sped up, and then
Yeah,
the body slide, which is like the little toilet bowl one,
that one hurt
way
me.
faster. Yeah, I knew you were going so fast it kind of hurt. It was
I
crazy.
know I got a lot of gravity. I was going down fast.
But yeah, so I guess when it comes to activities, I would say, I mean, they packed a lot into that ship. And
hmm
that's not even including the areas like for the karaoke nights or the comedy clubs and things like that. So there's a lot of activities and a lot of entertainment there on board the ship, and a pretty large variety. And again, for a ship that's I would expect the amount of things that there are to do on this ship. I would have expected it to be over 200,000 tons, like on the World America or even like an Oasis-sized ship. But it's on the small, not Grandiose is not small, but well below that 200,000 mark at 180.
And
So there's a lot to do in that amount of
one
space.
one thing I will give Grandiosa compared to like let's say Utopia because they're kind of entering a similar market right now.
Hmm.
Um, Grandiosa has so much to do, but it's not overstimulating.
Absolutely.
That I love that. Like when you step on an Oasis class ship, it's like, oh Lord, this is. I mean, it's awesome, but it's like, wow, there's a lot to do, especially like an Icon class. Grandiosa, there's a lot to, but it's not
Hmm.
like everywhere.
Right. Right. Exactly.
All right, what's your score?
I would say the Star
Sector
Walker
22
show,
card.
actual Michael Jackson song. Okay, so yes, that was that crazy busy one that we missed. We almost went into
Darn
it,
it!
and
None of
I know that actually kind of regret.
you backed out.
We have to go. I guess we have to go again. I wouldn't be
Uh-oh.
upset at all. But overall activities, I would give it a 9. I think there was a lot to do.
Yeah.
It was a lot to do, even despite you know, even with a ship as big as it is, I would have thought the ship would be bigger. Like with the amount of things that are on there and things that are to do, you would think the ship is bigger than it is, and it's already a large ship. Like there's just that much going
Mhm.
on. So I would give activities a 9.
I agree. 9 as well.
Next one here, this kind of goes for MSC in general, but Ocean Cay. This was your first experience with Ocean Cay, but just kind of their private island in general. The really cool thing about Ocean Cay is that they really lean into marine conservation and hit the button again. Marine conservation and trying to preserve the environment, the natural habitat, and all variety of different things, and being as
Mhm.
least amount of environmental impact on the private island as possible. This actually started several years ago as an industrial wasteland, no more than 10 years ago. And so now it's just this big tropical paradise, and they're actually setting up artificial reefs and things like that out in the ocean, and like the marine life is actually coming back, which is really nice to have too.
I would like to add that Ocean Cay is the most beautiful island I've probably ever been to in my life.
Yes.
Not even just private island, just like it was beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think also the time of year we went, it was just so nice out, just nice walking around. Everything just
Hmm.
felt great. Everything was so beautiful. Never crowded because we were the only ship there. It was amazing.
Right, exactly. They are going to add, actually, that was one of the big news recently this past week was that, they did confirm and they did say that there is going to be a second dock coming. I know we knew that ahead of time, but they finally announced that publicly at least. And I know our World Atlantic sailing is going to be one of the first couple that actually have a 2-ship day there, which is going to be really cool.
Yeah.
But Uh, overall, I agree. I think Ocean Cay is probably one of the most beautiful and definitely the most photogenic island out of just about any of them. Where Coco Cay is like a giant resort and just like a giant, massive water park. And, that's not that's not to say it's a bad thing. It's just like, you're when it comes to comparing Cocoa and Ocean Key, like it's comparing apples to oranges. Like they're just complete polar opposites of each other. Although both are absolutely amazing, but in their own respective ways. But a very, very pretty island. The lighthouse is always really cool. You can go up there. I believe it was $30, which that's going to be one of my zonks for the island. Is $30 to go up into a lighthouse is kind of expensive. I figured that's like it to me. I'd probably pay like $10 max to go up into that
Mhm.
lighthouse. Although it's probably a really cool vantage point to see the entire island from there.
And so I think the only thing they could add to the island is I'd want them to add like a pool of some shape or form. A pool I can compare I'd want them to add would be the pool at Great Stirrup Cay for whenever you go there next. I don't know when you're going next, but the pool at Great Stirrup Cay, um, just a very nice calming pool. It's like Coco's pools where it's like boom, 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 boom. I just like want to
Oh,
relax
really?
in a nice pool on a private island.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Coco's
So
got a
if we
big
could put
party
that on
atmosphere
Ocean
for
Cay,
sure. Yeah,
if
I
they could put a
mean,
pool like
that's kind of what that inner lagoon kind of stands for, though, in that sense. But I do agree with you. I think a pool would be nice, but I think they're just basically like, it's all going to be ocean at the same
yeah,
time. So I get both sides of that. But the
Ocean
inner
Cay.
lagoon
Oh,
is
it's
really
not called Pool
nice.
Cay. Yeah.
Um, the food on the island I thought was really, really good. I would say no different. Like it wasn't much different than anything that we saw on the ship. Don't try the brownies.
It got worse. It gets worse.
I don't know what it was. That was the worst brownie I've ever had in my life. The
How
chicken
do you
the
mess up a
chicken
brownie?
tenders were really
They're
good.
good.
They
Fries were
were.
good.
Oh, there is a splash pad coming, Caleb. But
Yes. I don't think I
but
could go there. That'd look weird.
the chicken tenders were really good. The burger was pretty good. The burger was nice and warm. The fries were awesome. I thought the French fries were really good, but that brownie was, I don't know what they put in
Deceptive. It
that.
looks good.
It looked good, but that like that was what it was weird. Like it got worse as you continued to chew it. I was like, oh my
Mm.
god, it's so bad. So don't try the
And there
brownies, but
was like a
the rest of the food truck options, and that's what one thing I like is that they have food trucks there, kind of like the snack shacks on Ocean Key or on Cocoa
yes.
Key. They have the main buffets as well, just like the buffets on the ship, but they have the food trucks, and that's where we had the burgers, the chicken tenders, brownies, all of that, and I really like that. They were all over the island. They're adding even more over the next year as they build that dock to prepare for all the additional passenger capacity. So lots of access
I
already.
wish they would what's it called? Have soft serve on Island. That's it.
Did they not? Or did we
They
miss it?
they did was an upcharge. It was the upcharge one.
Okay, so they did have that. It was an upcharge. I think there was an actual like I'm pretty sure there was like an actual ice cream machine though in the buffets. We just missed it.
So you're telling me I just like on the island. You just saying I just missed the whole point of the island.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. All right. Our
Yes.
score was gonna be a 2. Now it's gonna be like a 7, I think.
Um, and then I also think, when it comes to their marine conservation stuff that they do, I thought it was really cool that they have the actual Ocean Key Marine Foundation there on the island. They actually have, and the hours are super weird. It's like from 8 a.m. to noon, but then from like 3 to 6, but the ship leaves at 6. But so we actually missed the
You
time
better be back
windows.
on.
Right, exactly. You better be on by 6. Um, so we missed the window to actually go in there because we were actually walking around the island and all that. But that is something next time I'm there, I definitely want to check that out. Um,
Yeah.
but overall, I would say Ocean Cay. What are your thoughts?
Great Island. It's kind of like a new theme park to me. Where like whenever I went to Epic Universe for the first time, it's like, man, I can't wait to see where this place goes. That's how I feel about Ocean Cay. Like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
this is still a baby island. They're still working on it. I can't
Mm-hmm.
wait to see where they take it. So for that, I'm gonna give it a 7, but it's an optimistic 7 where I can't wait to see what they do.
Okay, I was thinking 8, but
I
I'll
give it a
s-
7.
I'll
That
see your 7.
that brown. That brownie,
That
man.
brownie lost all 3 points. That brownie was that bad.
I know I exaggerate a lot, but I remember. Do you remember when I was eating it? I took a bite. I went, oh, it looks like Ron Weasley for a second, dude.
All
Terrible.
right, so we'll
Don't eat
go
the
with a
brownie. Just keep
7.
eating.
So that brings, I believe, our total up to about 55, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to actually do the numbers so far.
How many more
But we
categories do
have
we have left?
3 sections left, and we got 10 minutes.
Oh,
The room, we had an Aria balcony. Again, this is kind of a trend, I feel like, with my previous MSC experiences. But we booked an inside and somehow ended up with a balcony. In this case, we got an Aria balcony, so I'll already give ourselves a couple bonus points on that. But Aria balcony, it wasn't really much different than a normal balcony. It's just your standard deluxe balcony experience. You just get all the spa benefits, the spa package with it, basically, which was free massages, and I think free access to the thermal suite, and I think discounted massages, things like that.
the balcony itself was extremely tiny, and one of the tiniest balconies I've ever seen on a cruise ship.
It was very narrow.
Yeah.
Which was not the case on my previous MSC experiences. So it's not an MSC thing. It must just be that class.
Yeah.
But it was a very narrow balcony. It was a good size, just a little on the narrow side, which I thought was kind of interesting. Usually they're like, the width of it was really nice, but like it just wasn't very deep. Like between the door and the railing was like maybe 4 feet. It was pretty short, but
I'm like 4 feet wide, so it was a little narrow for me. I'm kidding. Holy cow.
But yeah, overall, I thought the balcony was nice. The bathroom was good, nice, easy, clean. Just having a clean room was nice. We had some issues on my Seascape room, so I'll give it a big plus on top of what I experienced with Seascape. But the bathroom was nice. Bathroom was good. Lots of space, lots of storage, things like that. So overall, they had. One thing I thought was really cool is that they had what was called a Zoe. And it's funny because Caleb was about to fall on the floor when I was making my room tour video, just because I was like, just right off the rip, I was like, and this over here is Zoe, not to be confused with the ex-girlfriend. She's basically like Alexa, if you're familiar with the Amazon Echo Dots and all this. And Caleb was like on the floor, like squealing. Like, I was just like flowed straight through my video. But in the background, Caleb was just like dying in the background. It was so funny.
That was the Zoe never worked, just like
No, I can never figure out how to get to work. But yeah, essentially what Zoe was is supposed to act like a Amazon Echo Dot or like a Apple HomePod. And so but access to top 19, which we'll get to in a second. I guess we'll loop that into the room here. But yes, that was part of the ARIA package. Is not only the spa benefits, but you get access to top 19. And then other classes of ships, it's either top whatever. Like I think on World America, it's top 20 or something along those lines. But you get the point. So overall, thought it was good. Weird that Zoe never worked. So that was interesting. But overall, I thought the room was very, very nice. And access to top 19 was fantastic. That was basically an entire private sun deck for those Aria and Yacht Club decks.
It was a suite deck, basically.
Yeah, it was essentially like a suites deck almost. Very nice pool. Overlooked the main pool deck. So yeah.
We were there for a while that one day.
Yeah, we were. So room, your score. I'll agree with your 9.
What were you gonna say?
I was between an 8 and a 9, but I'll give it a 9.
I was between an 8 and a 9, but then I think like if we're factoring in the top 19 deck, I would literally love to spend a 7-night cruise on that ship if I had top 19.
I wish
I would have been up there all the time. Yeah, a very strong 9. Very strong 9.
Yeah, I think we came off of that ship both agreeing that like I wish we would have done the 7-night on the ship. Like 3 nights just like wasn't enough.
I could spend a lot of time on that ship.
Yeah, I love that ship a lot. So moving on to ship spotting. This is kind of our ship spotting nerd section of the review here. We love the lineup of
Stuck
ships
between
in
two.
port, what we get to see, the other ships we get to see, what we get to photograph, get videos of, things like that. So overall, I thought this was one of the better lineups we've had. We had a lot of slander with the Carnival Freedom when we originally saw her in Canaveral. That wasn't so great. But in Nassau, it was fantastic. We had a really awesome 5-ship day there. We had two Millennium class ships from Celebrity there, which is really cool. Given that there's only 4, one's in Asia, one was in dry dock, and then the other 2 that were actually here in the Caribbean were right with us at the same time, which was kind of neat in that regard.
That was cool.
That was pretty cool.
And one was with the new paint job, one was without the new paint job. I kind of liked that.
That was pretty cool. So they were kind of like different in their own aspect. We also had the Carnival Celebration, which was always nice to see. We love seeing those XL class ships. Still haven't seen Jubilee, but it was nice seeing Celebration just because I see Mardi Gras so much. So I love to see Celebration every time I get a chance to, just to have a different, look at a different XL ship. And then we had the Norwegian Breakaway, which is really cool. I had not seen Breakaway in years. It was so nice to see that ship again.
A Breakaway is one of the prettiest ships out there, I think. Definitely like top 5 NCL hull arts out there is Breakaway.
Absolutely.
It would be top 4 if it would be top 4 if R didn't exist.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. I definitely agree with that. And just I think the ship itself offered really good ship spotting as well. Also, it was 6-ship day when we returned. But
that was awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Seeing Star was cool.
But the ship itself offered a lot of really good vantage points, like we touched on earlier. Like there's a couple of those spots like where you could literally just the deck just like cantilevered out over the side where you literally had a clear shot down the side of the ship, which was really cool. And then there was just that low railing to where you could, easily actually see the ocean without looking through a panel of glass. There were high railings in certain areas. It wasn't like it was all around the ship, but kind of in areas that you would expect, like where the stairs would go up, there's higher railings there to counter the stairs, essentially. So overall, I thought the ship spotting aspect of it, I would give it maybe a 9 or a 10. I thought the ship spotting was fantastic. Okay, I'll give it a 9.
If Carnival Freedom didn't pull that BS on that first day,
just seeing Carnival Freedom ruined that 1 point.
No, what made it
Carnival
worse
Freedom
is it left 30 minutes early.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, she left like 30 minutes early for some reason. We walked up there at like 20 after. She was scheduled for 3:30.
We're walking down the hallway.
She was already by the jetties.
We were like literally about to open up the door to see the outside world, and Brandon's like, "Hey, she's past like Terminal 1 or 3 right now." I'm like, "No way!" Yeah. Open up the door. Way out. They're like, "Oh, guess so."
Yeah. So that was interesting, but
so, yeah.
Freedom's a nice ship. Don't let if you're going on Freedom, I know you're gonna have a good time. I just like to make fun of it because it has the little shark fin instead of a whale tail. It just looks so wonky. But even just because it has a funny funnel doesn't mean it's a bad ship. We just like to make jokes.
Sure. Even in Ocean Cay, even though it was just us in Ocean Cay, it was really cool. Pictures of Grandiosa in Ocean Cay. I know it's ship spotting your own ship, but like it looked good.
Yeah. And we saw was it Scarlet Lady in Bimini? We could see it pretty clearly as we were coming out of Ocean Cay that night too, which was really cool.
And it almost hit us. It almost T-boned us, dude.
And then the 6-ship day when we returned, so it was like Sky Princess, Prima, Disney Fantasy, or no, not Disney Fantasy. It was Vision of the Seas. I guess we left before she showed up though. And Star of the Seas and the Carnival Venezia. So really cool ship spotting.
Good lineup.
Got to see a lot of really cool ships that weekend.
And Carnival Freedom.
Yeah. And so last but certainly not least, we have the debarkation process. What were your thoughts on that?
We were off really fast. We were off extremely fast.
Very fast. And like there was 0 line, but we also walked straight down and straight off the ship. Like usually, you got to wait a few minutes. We must have either timed it really, really well, or they just let us all
We got an empty elevator.
We did get an empty elevator, which is insane. You do not get
I
empty
remember like
elevators on
I remember
debark
looking like
mornings. Never.
we straight shotted all the way down to the promenade. I'm like,
Yeah, we didn't even pick
hello?
anybody up. We went straight down. Like we just like never stopped moving. It was the craziest thing. I couldn't believe it. Like I don't think you can get any faster than that. So
No hesitation.
there's a 10. All right, there we go.
The
So
best debark I've ever had in my life.
yeah, that was a really good. That was a really good debarkation
They
process.
wanted this off.
Yeah. So drum roll. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Give me like 5 seconds. So
I can
app
only drum roll for
check-in.
so long, man.
App check-in, we got a 7. Embark, we got a 9. Service was a 7. Food was a 7, although the specialty dining made up 5. That was split into 5 and 5, and 5 of those were the specialty dining experience, and then the 2 was the free food. So keep that in mind. So layout of the ship, we gave it a 9. Activities, we gave it a 9. Ocean Cay, 7. I would consider that an 8, but we'll go with Caleb's 7 here. A 9 for the room. Ship spotting was a solid 9, and the debarkation process was a 10. Caleb, what do you think overall? What would you give the MSC Grandiosa, not knowing our final score yet?
Out of 10, I would give it an if I don't want to give it an 8.5, but I don't want to give it a 9. I don't want to say like 8.9 or something like that. But at that point,
Okay.
I would just say 9.
I would say I personally would give the ship an 8.5, and I'm especially off the breakdown that we just did. I personally am a believer that no ship is perfect. There's always some room of improvement.
Yeah.
Not to say it in a negative way, but there's always something that could be slightly better. It could be the smallest thing, but nothing's perfect. Nobody's perfect. No ship is perfect. Nothing's perfect. So that's you did too good of a job, I guess, if you got a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
here we are. So you're going to say what an 8.5 out of 10 is what your final score is?
8.5 out of 10.
So out of our list, we are giving the MSC Grandiosa an 83 out of 100. So an 8.3 out of 10.
I like that.
I think that's fantastic.
I like that.
I
think that's
honestly,
really good.
anything 8 and above was a solid. In my opinion, anything 8 and above is solid. A very, very good score. Anything below an 80, I would say like 70 to 80 is like a good cruise. Anything above an 80 is like awesome. If you reach a 9, amazing. But anything below 70 is kind of like when you're like, okay, but yeah, 8.3 out of 10. I like that score that we came up with throughout our scorecard here. And I thought MSC Grandiosa is a fantastic cruise, and I would love to sail on her again.
I hope to sail on her again. I'm
I do
trying
too.
to sneak on Meraviglia.
Yeah.
Because that's how much I loved that class.
Grandiosa will eventually move over to 3 and 4 night sailings regularly when she takes over for Seashore when the World Atlantic comes later next year. So that's something to keep in mind. So these 3 night sailings on board the ship are going to become a more regular thing, although she does sail 7 night cruises right now. I personally, giving it an 8.3 out of 10, I would have loved to at least had 4 more days and actually done a full 7 days on the ship. So
I could imagine taking that thing to like the Caribbean. That'd be so fun, like to Cozumel or something like that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great. But with that,
Yeah.
I hope you all enjoyed our review here of the MSC Grandiosa. Big news, in about 10 days' time, Caleb and I are back at it again. We are sailing on the Norwegian Star out of the Port of Tampa, and that's our next ship that we're going to be going on. That was a very last-second cruise. We booked it literally like maybe 2 days ago. But that's our next cruise, and so we're going to have lots of really fun content here for you guys. The MSC Grandiosa vlogs are still coming out, but we have the Norwegian Star coming up very, very soon. Anyways, thank you all so much for listening, watching wherever you may be, whether it was live here on YouTube or watching the replay on YouTube, or you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Thank you so much for hanging out to this point, and we'll see you in our next podcast very soon. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Bye, y'all.